Hello and welcome back to the Earle Wellbeing YouTube channel. Well, today in the bathroom I am sharing something a little bit more personal and actually highly requested. Yeah, I'm talking about my HRT prescription and my routine. So many of you ask me about it, what I use, when I use it, why I use it, and so on. So I thought that I would share with you here. Then it's always here for you to return to as and when you need it, or to share with others who maybe ask the same kind of questions. And if you've followed me for a while now, you will know that I am a vocal advocate of replacing natural hormones. So it's consistently been found to be overwhelmingly safe, effective, and beneficial for the vast majority of women. However, I should also say that for anyone dipping a toe into the world of replacement hormones, it's not always an easy journey. Unfortunately, HRT is not a one-size-fits-all treatment. You may be one of the lucky ones, like me, who finds immediate symptom relief or gets a good night's sleep from rubbing on your first little bit of estrogen gel. That was my experience. Or it may take months, maybe longer, of trial and error, adjusting the type and the dose of your hormones. So the starting point is estrogen. This is a really common point, and progesterone if you have a uterus. And usually it's given in the most modern, safest transdermal way. This means through the skin. So it could be a gel, a spray, or a patch. They all contain the same YAM-based body-identical estrogen. All HRT dosages, regimes and durations do need to be prescribed individually with an annual review where you discuss symptoms and changes and updates and so on with hopefully an enlightened doctor. So we're all different and we all have varying levels of hormones and ways of absorbing them. So what works for me might not work for you and vice versa. But once the dose is right though, menopausal symptoms can be fully relieved. And the future risks of heart disease, osteoporosis, clinical depression and type 2 diabetes are all lowered. So what do? Well, I take my HRT in the evening because a lack of estrogen for me means that I don't sleep very well. So I like to make sure that I've got plenty in my system overnight. But for other people, you may find that you find yours works better for you in the morning. So you've got it right the way through the day, a good dose, particularly if mood swings are a problem. So I use estrogel, and I also use Utrogestan. Have I got it here? No, I haven't. It's a little capsule, okay? So that is the natural form of micronized progesterone. I'll go and find it actually, and then I can show you. So here we go. This is my Utrogestan, micronized progesterone. Now, there's been such a run on this that actually they've also come up with a different version, but it's absolutely the same. I looked at it, it's the same amount of natural progesterone, body identical, and that's really important. It means that you're not adding anything different or synthetic. I actually do not genuinely think that my hormone replacement therapy is any form of medication, because it's just putting what's naturally back into my body. It's body identical hormones. This estrogel contains estradiol 17, which is exactly the same as is being produced in my ovaries, or rather was being produced in my ovaries until I hit menopause. So I'm just putting a little bit of that back, and it is astonishingly effective. So for me, as I say, my main symptoms were sleep disturbances, heart palpitations, not a hot sweater's flush but as such, but just slightly warm that would wake me up. So that's why I rub this on at night. Now, I need quite a lot of this because I don't absorb it. And in fact, there was a very interesting recent study that shows that around 25% of women do not absorb their estrogen very effectively. And that may be why some people say, yeah, I tried HRT, it didn't work for me. I mean, it may be that the dose needs adjusting, because if you're not absorbing it, our skins are all different, just like we all have different skin types, different skin tones, different pH balances. And it depends, for example, how warm your skin is. So, for example, if you want to increase the penetration of transdermal HRT, apply it after a nice warm bath or a nice warm shower, but that might not always work for everybody. So whether you are using a gel or a patch, which obviously stays on the skin for however long it says on the carton, Or we use a spray. This is the Lenzetto spray. That's what this looks like. Kind of a weird looking device, isn't it? But you just sort of spray that there, and that sprays estrogen onto your skin. I was prescribed this a while ago, actually. I stopped using it because I didn't find it particularly effective. But then I do need quite a lot of estrogen, so I'm using, quite a few pumps of my estrogen gel. And I've been checked and not very much gets through my skin. I don't know, maybe I'm very thick-skinned, I don't know. But anyway, fortunately, I do get enough through to relieve my symptoms. So that's my estrogen, so I apply that at night. I also take my Utrogestan at night. That's my micronized progesterone. Now, they give this if you have a uterus. So if you've had a hysterectomy, chances are you won't be prescribed progesterone, although there is an ongoing, newish discussion about the role of progesterone and whether it's purely to protect the uterine lining or whether there's something more that we might need it for. Anyway, that's perhaps a discussion for another day. But I take the Utrogestan at night, or you can take the alternative that might be prescribed, but it's micronized body identical progesterone. The benefit of taking it at night is that progesterone has a really lovely calming, slightly sedating effect. It's not like a sleeping tablet, so if you take it in the morning, that's fine. But one of the added benefits is that it can make you feel slightly sleepy. So I take mine at night. Two things that I take are testosterone. So I am lucky enough to be prescribed by my NHS GP testosterone. Now, unfortunately, there is no NHS female testosterone available. So what we're given is Testogel or Testim, and this is basically the men's version of testosterone. It's the same hormone. We make it in our own ovaries. It's a female hormone. So you just have to adjust the dose, and you use like a little pea-sized amount. Obviously, if you're a bloke, you need a lot more. But you either get it in a sachet or a pump like this or something similar. If you have to get a private prescription, then you might get this. This is called Androfem. Because it's made for women, it's in a nice, pretty pink tube. Yeah, because we like pink, don't we? Anyway, we just use a pea-sized amount of this. It's the same testosterone. This is unfortunately quite expensive. I think it's about £45 for a month's supply, but it is the testosterone. So I got those just to show you. So that's the third part. So my estrogen, my progesterone, and my testosterone. But I have a real issue with recurring UTIs. I've talked about this before, urinary tract infections, and I didn't realise for so many years that they were being caused by my low levels of estrogen around the vagina, the urethra, the bladder, and this is such a common issue. So I also top up with vaginal estrogen. Now this is safe to do even if you are already being prescribed what they call systemic estrogen. So systemic estrogen is your tablet or your gel or your spray or your patch that is circulating around the whole system. Yeah, that's why it's systemic. However, sometimes not enough gets into the vaginal area and the bladder area where it might be really additionally needed to bump up the protection against recurring UTIs. In that case, you may well be prescribed additional vaginal estrogen. It's safe to be prescribed alongside, and in fact, it's so safe that even those who are having active treatment for breast cancer or any other kind of reproductive cancers can also use it. You can go and check that out online. There is lots of information about that. Again, because it's not systemic, it actually stays within the vaginal walls and it just delivers that localized bit of estrogen, which very often is just enough to top up the extra little bit that you might need to prevent UTIs and all those kind of awful kidney infections, bladder infections, cystitis, all of those things, alongside vaginal dryness and many other vaginal atrophy or clitoral atrophy, or all the dreadful things that can happen when we lose localized estrogen. So I've got two different types here. So it's turning into a bit of a monologue, isn't it? Anyway, this is Vagifem. So these are little pellets. If you can see, there's a little pellet there at the end of the pessary applicator, and you just kind of like fire that into you, and the little pellet then just dissolves locally and delivers vaginal estrogen. Or there is a similar thing. This is Intro Rosa. This is actually a mix of estrogen with, it's actually called progesterone, and it's in a coconut oil base. and this also creates a little bit of testosterone localized. It's really, really good, and it's kind of one step up from the vaginal Vagifem. And I think my UTIs must be like really hard to treat because anyway, sorry if I'm oversharing, but this is the Intra Rosa, which is really helpful. Now this, where you live in the UK, it's a postcode lottery. Unfortunately, my NHS GP is able to prescribe me Vagifem, but she's not able to prescribe me Intra Rosa. So if I want Intra Rosa, which I do use, I kind of cycle it really. I make do with Vagifem, and then from time to time I think, do you know what, I just need a bit of an extra. Then I have to get this on a private prescription. So hopefully that will change. I have been writing and lobbying my local formulary to say, come on guys, it shouldn't be dependent on where you live. And of course, those who live in Scotland may also have completely different issues as well. That is my kind of overview as to what I take. So I've got my estrogen gel, I've got my testosterone cream or gel, I've got my localized vaginal estrogen, and I've got my micronized progesterone. These things keep me going. So I hope this is helpful. Please pop a comment below. I'd love to hear your experiences, and if there's anybody out there that you need to share this with, then please feel free to do so. I'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.